Okay, here we go. We're live. Welcome to Helpdesk Hangouts. My name is Matt Storms. Thank you for joining us again today. If you have not subscribed to us on YouTube, please strongly request that you do that. That way you'll get this Hangout in your email inbox every week, and you can watch it at your leisure. We've done, I think it was the 115th Helpdesk Hangout today, so thank you for joining us. So we'll go ahead and do introductions. If you have a mic, we'd request you turn that on during the introduction part. If you're not talking, go ahead and mute your mic, and we want everybody to participate. So please participate as much as possible. It helps with that. We've got a few people here in the Hangout. We got William Rock, who is going to probably be monitoring the Google Plus Helpdesk Hangouts feed. He does a really stellar job at that. And he'll populate any questions up into the Hangout. Anybody who's in the Hangout, if you're writing anything in the chat on the right-hand side of the page, no one who's actually watching the Hangout can see this. Can see what you write in there. So keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and do some introductions. We'll go ahead and start off left. Adam.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm SEO at Philly Marketing Labs. Good to be here.
Nice, nice. I've talked to a few of your people back in the day. I know a few of them, and I know some of your PPC people as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Barry, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
I am Barry.
That'll work. All right, Brett, do you have a mic? Unmute yourself. There you go, Brett. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Looks like he keeps muting himself. All right. We'll go to the next one. Danny.
Hi, everyone. My name is Danny. I am generally interested in SEO. Happy to be here.
Outstanding. Josh.
Hi, my name is Josh Pashinsky. That's my secret identity. But today, I have a big announcement. I've been talking about a big thing for a long time. I just want to let you all know that I am actually Batman. I am Batman of SEO. And I'm here to answer your questions and to swing into Gotham to save the day at the last second.
Nice, nice. Cool. All right, Christopher. Go ahead and introduce yourself. You have a mic, Christopher? No mic. Mallory. All right, William.
I think I have a mic, but I'm not Batman. I can think I can be Josh for a little bit, but he's too overpowering. So anyhow, I'm William Rock. I'll be in the comments if you guys have any questions, and I'm just a geek on the net.
Say something about ethics, and then you'll be me.
I can't speak to ethics. I mean, come on. I'm a black hat, remember?
Right.
All right. And Brett, go ahead and introduce yourself, Brett.
Brett Stevens.
You got to speak up. We can barely hear you.
Can you hear me better now?
A little bit loud. Just a little bit. Keep going a little bit louder.
All right, let's see if we can get this up louder.
Money.
Awesome. Brett Stevens, I'm actually a PPC guy, but I've dabbled in social media and SEO, worked for agencies, pretty familiar with it, but here to probably learn more than anything. So,
I love using PPC to evaluate my SEO strategy.
Absolutely.
And the quality of my pages. If you're not using it, and maybe we could dive into that first, and then we'll talk. I know Barry's got some stuff I want to get to him real quick, and then I know some other people have some questions in here. So let's talk about leveraging PPC to influence our SEO. I am a strong proponent of that. Brett, how do you leverage your SEO to improve your PPC?
By buying AdWords, you automatically rank well in Google. Organic.
Yes, done. Absolutely.
Go ahead and tell us, Brett. How do you do it?
How do I rephrase that for me?
Yeah. So how do you use SEO to improve the quality of your PPC?
Well, I'm always interested in the information that Google is pulling to whenever the site shows up in the SERPs in the SEO portion. So I'm interested to see there because that's what Google sees as relevant for that page. And so a lot of the times I will look at that information, whether it's coming from the meta or it's coming from a piece of information on the page, and I'll utilize pieces of that in my ad text based on how relevant it is to the keywords or ad groups within the page. And if everything matches up, I should be doing things right and I should be presenting the right message to my audience.
Do you ever use your page quality score as an indicator of improvements you need to go and make on that page for SEO?
Keyword quality score?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So if I'm getting really good quality score, that means that the relevancy is usually there between my ads and my keywords, and everything's lining up that way. My click-through rates are good. Then I take those and I make sure that those keywords are very prevalent on the page without being spammy.
So when you see a high quality score for a keyword for that relating to a page, what's your ideal number that you want to see? It's a 1 out of 10. What's your ideal number that you want to see?
Non-branded, I want to see preferably 7, 8, 9. Well, 10 obviously would be terrific, but somewhere between 7 and 10. Below that, I think you're right for sure. But you can, if you're doing things the right way, you should get a 7 to 10.
Nice. Yeah, no, there's some definite things, and then I know as far as doing SEO, like I want to see I want to see those quality score numbers, and maybe some of the other guys like Danny and some of the will concur to this to say that that is a reflection to how well you're doing your SEO. Does anybody else agree with that? Batman, would you?
Go ahead, Brett.
No, I was giggling actually.
No, I don't know. What do you think, Brett? How connected is the quality score to anything relevant for SEO other than semantic relevance? Like, do you think it's related to Panda quality? Do you think it's related to anything?
I think there's something there because you have your relevancy. Like in PPC, we look at relevancy a few ways. You look at relevancy between your keyword and your ad, and then your ad and your landing page. So I think the latter definitely comes into play. Of landing experience that you can garner from that quality score to say, am I doing well here in my SEO? Because usually if you're doing things right with your PPC, you're taking that message that's on the landing page and you're forming it to your ad so that the two match up. And thing right sure.
Fantastic point. I'm glad, Brett, you brought this stuff up because this is something I focus in all day long. But I do a lot of A/B split testing with mine to see where I can actually up my quality score, and also looking through even further, which is my Google Analytics. I want to know what the bounce rates are. I want to know how many pages they actually searched, how long they were actually on those pages, were they reading them, and then you can go even further, which is basically looking at where the heat maps were, what they were actually reading with the mouse. And then figuring out based off that, go, okay, well, if they were clicking over here primarily, where's my hot zone? Where's my call to action?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And being able to have all of that data, super important. You're absolutely right. The engagement, not just to get the person there, but what they do after they get to that page, how they engage with your page. Laid out the right way so that they are having a good user experience and getting some quality out of it. It absolutely makes perfect sense.
And it goes back to conversion analytics, really. I mean, you're looking at what happened in a quick time. I mean, you can see it through organic, right? But if you throw $1,000 or something, you can know quickly with that user experience if it was good or bad, and then identify how to fix it after that, and then go further and go, okay, even with organic, you take that learning experience from your A/B split testing. Can you put that back onto your organic page and still do and double dip?
Yeah, I mean, and just for everybody who's joined us now and things like that, we're talking about using PPC to leverage and understand what our SEO is doing. There's many times where I'm working with a client and I'll spend $500 to $1,000, drive a lot of traffic to a few pages to do some quick testing to understand what the quality of that page, to see how to see if I can get the users to do what I want them to do, if it's filling out a form or something like that, or to see if they will actually interact with it, and then using different variables to track where the users are going on the page, things like that, where they're clicking, what they're doing. When I can understand that, that is a treasure trove of information. And I think we as SEO doing that to understand how our SEO is actually, our UI and UX is actually working for us. Anybody disagree? Barry, disagree? I'll say it. Barry, give.
Is it just my computer, or are your reports coming in enough?
No, I see it too. There's some.
It's across the board. It seems like everybody seems to be stuttering, and I was checking my bandwidth just now just to see if I had to reset my router accidentally. But
Conspiracy. Only because I said Google uses Google Organic uses PPC data and AdWords. That's why they're slowing us down.
Yep. Agreed.
That must be it.
Maybe they're finally pushing an update at Hangouts. They did that a few years ago, right when we started doing these. They pushed the Hangout right in the middle when we were doing the Hangout, and it crashed. And there was no way I could get it back online except for without restarting Chrome. I was like, oh, man, that was not a good day. So I think there's some lag right now. But anyways, Barry, what's your point of view?
On using PPC for...
To understand your SEO.
Yeah, and it's facet that, if you want to see if a certain keyword that you're going to go ahead and buy 1 billion links for is going to make an effort, you should probably test it on PPC before you do it to see if there's a conversion or not.
I think it's wise to buy links, but I do think it's good to test your conversion platforms and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, obviously if you want to rank #1 for SEO and you go to, I don't know, some text link broker and you buy it and then realize that, wait a second, I don't sell SEO, I really sell, I don't know, milk or something, then that would be a bad idea to go ahead and buy all those links. So it's good to test the stuff on PPC if it's worth the investment on the SEO front, because hiring people like you to buy links is really expensive.
I just put in the comments, you guys, I think we're kind of missing the point with PPC, though. I mean, there's so many opportunities that somebody would have for a brand new site. If you don't have the SEO value yet, you can actually do a lot of things in the quick interim. Look at the holiday shopping season. We got Black Friday coming around the corner, right? How would one that does not have any SEO value yet still gain market with paid advertising until they get up to the speed and time with SEO?
Yeah, people definitely that's a recommended strategy from Google to buy PPC or buy traffic before you're ranking until people love your site so much, they donate links and social to you, and then Google picks that up, and then you start ranking. Another thing about PPC, of course, and I've mentioned before, is the brand bias issue, where if they see you in ads all over the place with your brand clearly listed there, then some studies seem to show that they'll click your organic listing more. And of course, Google also released a patent that the clicks on the ads in PPC will be used in personalization. So if they click your ad and then they do a search for you again in the future, your organic result may show up higher because Google knows you like it or you've been there before. So depending on the cost per click, it all comes down to the cost per click. What is the cheapest way to get the best amount of traffic is the question. And sometimes in some in some niches. In AdWords, of course, the cost per click can get very, very high.
Can I say something about PPC?
Please.
In my experience, I've noticed that the less sophisticated buyers come in through PPC because, and in my form on my website, I show I have a line item for the entries is budget. You know how much budget you have, and I found a correlation between low budget customers and people who came in through PPC, or really small businesses. And I think it's because it's the less sophisticated users who don't realize it's an ad that click on it, whereas the more sophisticated users recognize that it's an ad and they skip right past it and go to the organic. Does anybody else have anything on that?
I want to hear what Josh has to say.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I've seen that as well, and a lot of people have seen that. The same goes for Bing. Bing has a greater market share in some older demographics because it's built into IE and they're still using IE, or some finance and some health demographics as well. And they convert. Apparently, they convert far better, and they're much more susceptible to the long sales page kind of. Yeah. So yeah, different demographics have different buying preferences, different buying styles, and a different kind of ad, and to place yourself in a different area can definitely help depending on who you're selling to, for sure.
I got 2 points. One, Josh, you look like you're in a new room.
Yes.
Okay, 2, people who are paying for their ads to be shown to people clearly want you to click on those links and go to your website. So obviously, since they're paying for it, it must be more relevant.
Are you being facetious, Barry?
So on that topic, guys, I mean that makes a good segue, Barry. What do we look for? I mean, as a buyer, if I'm going to go buy something for the holidays and I'm looking for a smartwatch, I want to go and find all the reviews. I want to find all the details before I actually do my homework. And I'm probably going to have stuff on my way. Or if I'm in shopping, I'm going to go ahead and add it to my wish list. So there's a lot of different things that the user does that is trackable, right? I mean, the experience of advertising on a paid, once they go through it, then you have remarketing. So how does that play into the whole game? And how does that then reconvert for you? And why not actually use this for the experience? If you're having a better user experience on paid because of what you're doing for improvement on your website, little tweaks, maybe moving the call to action over to the right-hand side versus the left-hand side, or in the body of the text, or changing view on a landing page. Simple tests like that can really go a long ways, but you can't test that in organic. There's just no way to effectively do that and not risk something else. But if you could do that in an environment of testing, like for example a subdomain, okay, and I'm gonna actually say something. I use a tool called Unbounce, and what I'm able to do is create landing pages that I can then test, A/B split test. Okay, that same concept that I just showed or shared with you on an image versus a video. If all I did is send 50% of my traffic to one and 50% to the other, then I can say, okay, I sent $1,000 worth of traffic to this test. I can quickly identify how well that went. Then I can go back into my analytics and say, okay, based off the reactions of my test, I'll stop my advertising, I'll pause everything, and then I'll react by changing, modifying anything that I saw that was really a bad user experience. Then I would modify it and go, okay, cool, let's do another test. Let's put the same thing up, A/B split test, and then what happened? So throw another $1,000 at it, and then do it again. Stop it, pause it, reevaluate, and then perfect. Once I perfected it, It's easy to transfer that to organic. The learning is a matter of just fine tuning. I'm out.
Okay, cool. So I know Barry's got to bounce a little bit earlier today. He's got some stuff he's got to do because it's going to be coming sunset there. So Barry, do you have any news from this last week you want to cover real quick?
Cuts has a new
Don't freeze up, Barry. Don't freeze up.
What'd you
So,
say?
I guess you want to talk about mobile ranking factors, right?
Yep, let's do it.
Mobile ranking factors. Mobile. There's a crazy lag here.
Hey, Barry.
Yeah.
So why do you think Panda hit your site? Let's go through your site and find everything that's wrong with it.
Why did they?
Yeah.
Because William Rock told me that it would, and it did.
Well, he's a venerable SEO.
He's muted.
I swear, you brought that up on live television. I'm sorry.
Live TV. Nothing scares me.
Ah, jeez. I know I love you there, and I think that there's a lot of different signals and things that we can play out of that. Yes, I did send you something weeks prior to the algorithm update actually having updated, but that was just testing. Those are the signals that I was able to detect, but not just your site though. I mean, look at eBay. So let's take a bigger site than yours.
No, why bigger? So small. Panda's supposed to help small sites.
Because yours rocks, though. I mean, there's a
For
reason.
those viewers, sorry, hold on. For those viewers who are not aware, today Barry is Misinformation Man, just so you know. And Misinformation Man is the enemy of the Batman of SEO. And so we'll have an epic battle this whole talk. Just so you know that Barry today is Misinformation Man. Please.
Thanks, Batman. I appreciate it. And I love the shirt.
I'm Batman.
So let's just all be nice and
No, I think here's the thing about all the algorithm updates. It doesn't matter if it's Penguin or Panda or Pigeon or whatever else they develop. You know, the thing is quality. It's called, visitor experience. There's a couple things, Barry, that I did find, and those are just low quality pages. That's it. Get rid of them, 301 redirect them, change them, and then test your quality score again, really, on those pages. But you can come out of this algorithm. I've watched many do it. So even though you've got one of the biggest radical SEO sites in the world, I know you can get fixed. And if you can get fixed, that means a whole bunch of other companies out there in the world that are listening to this broadcast can also get fixed. It's not that difficult, guys.
So am I to understand that when a site like Barry's gets hit, that we are still, that Google is purely after quality?
It's still.
We're still in that line?
They just basically caught up with machine learning algorithms, guys. The machine learning has been so superior. I mean, my last 2 months, I've always been studying machine learning algorithm and also knowledge graph and everything else. But from what I've studied YouTube is a great thing to learn from, guys. I mean, I can actually, the algorithm has actually detected what I learned from and what I actually want to learn from and what I actually don't like to learn from because of my ups and downs on my YouTubes. But the same concept is, what am I going to put in my watch later list, guys, on YouTube? Think about how that reacts profile.
Wait a minute. No, wait a minute, William. So if a person puts out 3 bad videos and 100 good videos, YouTube should stop showing the good videos in search because they have 3 bad videos. That's what you're basically saying. Because machine learning has those 3 bad videos. No?
No, Kevin. No. Basically, what it's going to do is going to actually use user detection. So what you like, Kevin, where you're at now at the conference, think about where you're at. Now, how would a machine figure out all the cool things where you're at for you to do, and how could I advertise to you because I know you're there.
Yeah, but that you don't have to hit. You don't have to penalize the site to show me what is relevant to me where I'm at and based off of what I'm searching at. You don't have to penalize somebody to see.
I think Kevin's point, and it would be a point I agree with, is that just because some small percentage of the site is low quality doesn't mean the whole site needs to be hit. And John Mueller has told us it's a very low threshold. It's like 20 or 30% of the content in your site. If it's low quality, whatever the heck that means.
And here's the other signal to that, though. I mean, if you look at that, though, and you look at the graphs that I sent to Barry in his report, in the report it shows negative, and it also shows positive. Okay, so what everybody is actually looking at primarily in the industry is the negative. Okay, so yes, the quality signal moved these keywords out of the position that they were in because they're not as a higher authority of another. Therefore, those pages that were low quality get demoted. But what is the new ones? I mean, look at how.
But it's ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous to say that Barry's site is not an authority on SEO. It is one of the top 3 sites on SEO, if not the top site on SEO.
Okay, so here's an example of a query. Okay, so Matt Cuts, I forgot the name exact, but Matt Cuts something, and it was like 2001, 2002, whatever it was in the index, but that's old data. That's not new data. That's not something that people are going to be really looking for. Yes, it's historical. It means something. It still had authority, but is it really needing to be in a position for the term Matt Cuts? No, probably not. Is his other article about Matt Cuts, on furlough or whatever we're calling it, that more related for the query for Matt Cuts? That's kind of what I'm after, is basically the relevancy score based off the actual query. And also going back to the entity. Who is the entity and how does it connect to the dots that knows Matt Cuts? And why are they an authority around Matt Cuts?
So SEOs think about SEO in a certain way all the time. They always look very, very technical about content, links, blah, blah, blah. My SEO advice to everybody is simple. If Google's embarrassed not to have your website in their search results, they have to fix something on their end to make it work. Now, honestly, I really think Google's embarrassed by what they've done in the algorithm, and I'm waiting to see. I waited with link penalties before. I sold links. I waited probably 5+ years on that. So I'm waiting. I want to see what they do because maybe I'm biased, but I've been writing. The Search and Roundtable is one of the oldest.
Did you just say you sold links?
I sold links. It's public information. Go to seroundtable.com/links. You'll hear.
I just wanted to clarify that because
yeah.
First time I've ever heard it. I've known you. I've known you for like forever. I thought Batman was the bad beat.
Anyway, so whatever. I'll wait to see what people
he ate puppies. He didn't admit to eating puppies. It's not that big of a deal. Unless you do you eat puppies, Barry?
Do I eat puppies?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mean to out you on eating puppies.
Here's the thing, guys. When there's a signature, though, think about the signature that never goes away. I mean, you have a historical stamp. You own a domain. The domain did this at a certain time frame. I can see that through tools like Majestic SEO and others. But if I can know that you bought links at a certain time frame and then stopped, and then bought them again, and then stopped, and then bought them, why would I not penalize you?
Oh, wait. Links is over. That's an old story. That goes back, and now it's irrelevant, and I should be penalized because I have old content on my site that goes back and talks about history of Matt Cuts doing Y or Search and Roundtable buying links.
It's still a trust. It's still a trust issue.
Anyways,
no, it's not a trust issue.
I'll take this offline. It's not a trust issue, but those little tiny signatures add up for a lot of things. I'm out.
Let Barry finish.
So again, I was selling links on my site to relevant sites that I thought were relevant before Google even had any manual actions or any link penalties they were recommending you put links that you sell in a box called sponsor links. That was the recommendation back then, and that's what I did. They changed their advice and say now you have to, block them from search engines either using a no-follow tag or whatever it might be. I'm like, all right, I'm not doing that because I want to see what happens. I was a test case, and they penalized me, and fine. So I let it go for a while, and then I'm like, all right, there's no more point in selling this, so I stopped selling it. My manual action, before there were manual actions, went away by itself, and that's that. That's years ago. That's probably 3 years ago that I removed it. Now we're talking about Panda, which is completely unrelated to links, I would think.
Yes.
And you're saying that Google doesn't trust my site, which is fine. I think it's embarrassing for Google not to trust a site like mine on search engine topics, but that's my own personal opinion. I think almost everybody here probably reads the site on a probably daily basis, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just, maybe I have low quality content. I have to go through all my stories dating back to 13 plus years and go through it all and improve it all. There's no way I'm doing that. There's no way New York Times is going through all their old content and updating it all.
No. I know exactly why Panda has hit your site, if it has hit your site, and I think it's ridiculous. All you have to do is look at my list, my Panda list on themoralconcept.net, and a few of the factors there are things that specifically Googlers have mentioned can get you nabbed for Panda. And I think if that is true, which I think it is, I think it's ridiculous that those strikes against your site would hit a site that is clearly an authority in the field. It's clearly not low quality in that field. It's clearly relevant to that field. So anyway, that was my point that I was trying to make. Maybe Matt wants us to move on to something else.
No, we can keep going down this road. I think it's interesting. I think we just all need to respect each other.
I think here's the thing, and I've been alluding to this for a little while. I think Google has reached a point where they are now putting too much of the onus on web developers and website owners to go back and fix things rather than just not displaying them favorably for the portion that they are trying to go for. This whole idea, and this goes back to SMX West, of penalization, of them being in the penalization game versus the signal you have is no longer worthy of placing you in the index where you once were before. That's where this whole issue, for me, comes into play. It is even related to something that was said in a prior Hangout that we had, where it's like, what you mean that, and I'm not going to say who said it, but basically, you mean those businesses want to show up in that area for a keyword? Yes, businesses do want to show up in your search engine for results that are going to lead to them making money. If we're not clear on that, then I don't know how we can move forward. Now, should they be able to game it? No. But again, I think we've crossed a line there. Rant over.
Barry's got to roll. He's got some things he's got to go take care of. So see you later, Barry. Thanks for joining us.
Goodbye, misinformation man.
Bye.
You, Barry.
I will get you next time.
All right. So
Matt, I got to cut out in about 10 or 15 here too, because they're going to kick me out of this room. So.
Kevin, I just want to say, you're like enormous. You're like, you could just reach over and eat those buildings right there. You just grab them and eat them.
Yeah. how was SMX Social?
SMX Social was really good. It's not as big as their East, and it's not as big as their East and their West event, but it is very focused on social. And they had a lot of really good speakers come in, and a lot of good sessions, good stuff laid down. They had some big names like Coca-Cola and Priceline and Denny's, which was, they had some interesting people who represent those brands for their social channels. They had some good talks and what they're doing. Of course, that's kind of a novelty to some degree because the scale of what Coca-Cola can do with their hub, what they call their hub, which is a whole, almost like a little mini data center, is not something that most businesses can replicate. But it is interesting to hear the theory of how they're doing and how they're preparing content and how they're preparing for certain events. So it was good.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I just actually put in a thing to speak at SMX West. So looking forward to that as well. Okay, so let's go into questions. Who here has got some questions or things like that you want to talk about? All right, go ahead, Danny.
Okay. Mobile design. So John Mueller keeps talking about in the videos, his weekly videos, he's talking about how your mobile needs to substantially look like your desktop in terms of content, with the exception of the boilerplate, the sidebars, the footers, the navigation, and everything like that. And at the same time, he's talking about how critical elements now should not be under expandable divs, right? So those two things. So given that he said that, how can I take my desktop site that has so much content, images, pictures, rates, locations, all this stuff, and boil it down into a mobile site that doesn't have expandable divs? It would be a bad user experience. At the same time, that's what Wikipedia does on their mobile version. Everything goes into expandable divs. So how are those things consistent?
You would just use media queries. So if it doesn't need to expand, you need to determine what the mobile users want if they want to get all that information. A lot of mobile sites are just cookie-cutter kind of brochure sites, and that's fine because people don't want to sit there reading all this content on mobile. So you need to.
That's why I want to push it into expandable divs. But John Mueller is saying, if it's really critical and you want to rank for that content, then you better show it, don't hide it.
Yeah, that's true.
But I have to hide it on mobile. It doesn't make sense for me to put all that. It's not like a desktop where you can just scroll.
Well, then don't put all the content. That's my point. Is that you have to decide how much content the mobile user needs versus the desktop user needs. If you want to convert on the mobile user, you have to give them less content, usually, and a bigger call to action for them to email you or contact you. Because they typically, depending on your user, don't want to scroll on the mobile device. That's not always true, however. I've seen mobile sites that don't even have a mobile design. I've seen desktop sites on the mobile side work perfectly well because people love that content and they have what I call high buying intent. They really want to buy this product, and so they'll scroll and make it bigger, and they'll read it, and they'll flip through, and they'll put up with the bad mobile design, which is just a desktop design, and they'll click the buy button. So it depends on your users and what it is they want to do.
But Josh,
Wikipedia, that's the reason Wikipedia does so well is that people want to read, and so therefore they're going to just go ahead and read everything on the page. And when I get to a Wikipedia article on my phone or tablet, I'm usually going to spend 3 to 5 minutes reading that entire page just because I want to know the knowledge there so that way that I'm now informed. But when it comes to sites where I'm going to buy a product or if I'm looking at something, like right now, I bought a coffee table this morning, okay? Got it on Craigslist, got a really sweet deal on it. And the thing is that have I ever sanded a coffee table in my life? Nope. Have I ever stripped and finished a coffee table in my life? Nope. This is going to be the very first time I actually am going to do that in my life. But I pulled it up on my phone this morning when I was looking through Craigslist ads, and I was like, and I said, yes, I'll buy it because I'm buyer intent. But I have to buy a sander, I have to buy sandpaper, I have to buy stripper, I have to buy finishing liquids and things like that, and paintbrushes, and so all that type of stuff like that. And Josh, the reason that I was on Craigslist that I found a coffee table is I was looking for home furniture. I was looking for coffee tables. Yes, that is why I have been doing that for a few months now.
Don't lie to Batman.
Here's where I see the Craigslist and all that stuff going with mobile, though, guys. I mean, we search for what we want, and that's what everybody else does. And we have to actually use the user intent and visitor experience model to best understand as a webmaster how to better define the website. Now, look at, for example, the tool that was just launched recently about being able to detect. Google sees what you just have to scan your URL, see what's wrong. It tells you, right, Matt? I mean, we've done those. If it doesn't say mobile ready, then you need to fix some things, and it tells you kind of what to do. But as a webmaster, we kind of know, okay, well, the image is too fat, or the div tags running off the actual screen. Little things like that make a huge difference in user experience. Even though they don't see it, Google wants it there. So how do we adapt and go beyond? What does Google?
Hold on, really, hold on. So, Danny, did we answer your question there?
No, we kind of went off.
Yeah, we kind of diverged. So let me bring it back.
The content on desktop has to look substantially similar to the content on mobile. So some people have said, well, look, I have a really long H1 tag, or I have a really long whatever H2 tag. It doesn't make sense for me to put that long H1 tag on my mobile site.
Is that definitely the case?
It has to look substantially similar. So, and to Josh's point, he's saying, well, you got to give the user what he wants.
Is that
but you'll all the substantive content, all those important keywords that you have, and all those paragraphs have to look substantially the same. So, how can I collapse with it? Or are collapsible divs okay on mobile?
Danny, my point is that you don't have to have the same content on the desktop and the mobile. You can have completely separate. You can do that through responsive, or you can do that through with a separate site as well. It doesn't matter. You need to tailor the content for what the user wants. The user is different than the desktop user.
Or is the answer that since you're putting rel canonical on your mobile version anyway, you're pointing the rel canonical towards the desktop, that it doesn't really matter what you put on your mobile because Google is using your desktop content to index to rank you on mobile sites. Is that the answer?
I don't believe so. The Googlebot that crawls the mobile site to rank
if I have a keyword on my desktop that doesn't come over to my mobile, some long tail keyword that doesn't come over to my mobile because it got hidden in a div or there was no room for it. Am I going to show up on mobile for that keyword now?
Not unless you have it in primary content.
Yeah, it needs to be in your primary content on the page. If you're putting it in like a hidden tab or something like that, the user would have to click on it. I mean, and I'm not going to say that I know the answer to that. I do know that Google does Googlebot is reading all the source code, so they're reading all the content. So then, therefore, if they're reading all the content, then you should be ranking for that exact same query term for whatever keyword on a desktop. You should rank the same thing on the mobile version. You should. So key emphasis on should. I would run some testings, or some testing to see if you are showing up on desktop and for the same search query on mobile.
There is that, and I hear what you're saying, Danny. That the short answer is that maybe that long tail keyword is just not going to rank for your mobile site. So I mean. Or maybe there's another page. Maybe you can restructure your pages in such a way that that long-tail keyword has its own page, and if it's worthy enough to be its own topic, and so you can have that content, a few paragraphs for both the mobile and so the mobile can rank for that topic as well.
The other thing
that small pages are okay, but big ones are not. But at the same time, I saw that same video. I saw today's video too? and he said, look, you can move away footers, you can change navigation, you can do all that, but the content, the substantial content, has to remain the same. So I don't know.
Yeah, so one last thing about mobile, and then we're going to move on to the next thing. So is sometimes long tail, like people say, oh, you show up for this long tail search and mobile. Well, the problem is that are people willing to do a 3, 4, or 5 keyword query type search on that much out on their phone? I'm not. I usually will search, like a 2-word or maybe 3-word query to come up with a result. In 3 words, you might want to reconsider your long tail for mobile and not showing up there. Just user experience. Users, think about it. You're not willing to sit there and type in 5 or 6 keywords on your mobile phone. It just takes too much effort. So, anyways, yeah. So let's go into another question. I know, Adam, is your mic working again?
Yeah, well, I hope so.
There we go. So, did you have a question? I saw you were writing some stuff in the chat.
Oh, no. I was trying to just kind of respond to what Danny was saying as far as having 2 different sites, one for mobile and one for desktop. And I think as long as you're not displaying something different to the user than you would be to the bot, there shouldn't be an issue. Am I right?
Correct.
Yeah. So that was what I was trying to say.
Cool. So, have you seen any issues this last week that kind of piqued your eye, or things like that, or issues that you're working with, or that you want to talk about?
Well, I did have some weird things happening in Webmaster Tools just last week, where I was getting like a gigantic data set saying that I was getting like hundreds of thousands of impressions for a page and 1,600 clicks, but meanwhile, if I go into GA, they were showing 200 visits to the page. So it was really odd. I couldn't match that up, and I really couldn't find anything that would any other information or anybody else having a similar issue. Has anybody ever had anything like that?
What was the issue? Can you repeat that again?
In Webmaster Tools, at the landing pages, or even how it feeds directly into analytics. You can look at your landing pages under the search engine optimization section, and it shows impressions and clicks and your click-through rate. Well, for one particular page on this client's website, we had just recently moved them over to a new site, and so we're monitoring everything real closely to see how we're doing. And all of a sudden, this last month, there were personal injury attorneys, and the page about premises liability was showing 200,000 impressions and 1,600 clicks. Well, that didn't match up to what the analytics was showing. Their traffic was minimal. For the whole month, they're getting maybe 2,000 visits. So, the fact that the Webmaster Tools data wasn't matching up was a little odd, and I didn't know if anybody had any ideas as far as what that could possibly be, or if there was anything particular that I might be overlooking.
I've dealt with that quite a bit with some of the larger clients I work with. As far as keeping the accuracy, something I'm working on with a few people in Google. But I've seen the trend as well, where it's not hitting my my analytics properly. And what I try to do is use that as more of a gauge versus accuracy, because you're going to see your impressions climb, your clicks climb, and then you're going to see impressions drop for a particular keyword and a particular page. Once you go into it, it goes back to your user experience. Either you're going to have that drop or climb, but what you're probably wanting to know is, okay, once they get there, I know the reporting's off, but what are they doing when they get to that page? Have you guys dove into the whole portion of, okay, here's the actual impression for that keyword, and then since they clicked on it, now I have some information that I can go upon in analytics to then kind of go through a visitor flow model, pulling that page and looking, okay, where did they go after? How did they go through the website? Did they go to my contact form? Did they fill it out? And actually, do I have a funnel set up in my analytics to track that? So making sure all those criteria are set up prior to this. But going back to the actual inaccuracy. That's something I'm very concerned about. However, use it as a approximation, not an accurate. I think it's going to get better as they work on it, as we've seen all the different progressions with the tool throughout the years.
As opposed to the Webmaster Tools data.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
It's a report that I put in already, but just know that you can go back onto your pages and look at what's happening afterwards, and then dive back in.
Right on.
Sweet. So if you guys don't mind, we're going to end a couple minutes early. I got to go take care of some personal business, so I apologize for that. But I've got to go. So that being said, I'm sorry that we have to end this hangout early. Next week it is Thanksgiving, so we will not be having this hangout next Friday as well either. And then we'll pick things back up just because of the holiday.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
So suppose you disavow an old website and then you kill that website and the disavow file is in Webmaster Tools and you open up another website. Do you think you would need the disavow to be in the actual new the new website? Should I disavow, should I have two files, or do you think one file is okay from the old site? So if I have Apple 123 and then Apple 124, do I need to have two disavows for the two sites?
Restate that again for me.
Okay, so I have appleseo.com and then appleseo1.com. So Apple SEO has 2,000 disavow links in that site. So I have terminated that site. In other words, I 301 that site to appleseo1.com. Apple1SEO.com is brand new. Nothing's happening. Do I need a disavow, you think, for that website? If the disavow is already sitting in the other.
Why not just do it to be safe?
Are you 301 redirecting that old domain to the new domain?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 301ing it. Of course, the links will flow, but the links are already disavowed in Apple SEO. Why?
I'd play it safe, Rook.
What?
Yeah, I'd play it safe and put it in both. It's not going to hurt you, and it's not going to help you either. But you're going to redirect all that information to one domain, and that may cause a bigger problem.
The thing is, though, I'm already testing this with another site already for 7 months. I just want to be safe, and nothing is flowing. Nothing bad is flowing. I've been redoing audits on every 2 weeks to that site. Nothing has flowed. The bad stuff is still sitting in the old.
Send me a private message on it. I'll do some evaluation on it and see what I can do for feedback for you.
Okay. I just wanted to ask, I guess.
Well, you're playing it safe, and that's the best way to do it, guys.
Yeah.
You don't want to make the wrong mistake, but I don't think a disavow on each one. Google's going to actually look at that, right? But those links don't exist. But what happens with the 301 redirect when they do exist?
Yeah.
And Mr. Batman, I love the reaction. I must have actually hit a nerve.
Yeah. What do you think about Batman? What would you do? Would you add 2 disavow files?
Josh is getting knocked on one. I think the best thing to do would be to clean up, to do the disavow, wait for the response to come back. If there's no response within like 20 to 30 days, then think about doing another resubmission.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I mean, it's just something I think that's would be a good question just for as well for John to answer. What do you think, Matt?
I think it would be an okay question to ask. I mean, I don't see a problem with asking.
Yeah, just 2 disavows kind of, you feel like, it's kind of like a duplicate to have, but I guess.
Yeah, I would just be careful because when you do submit a disavow file, you need to give it enough time, because if you submit one and then like 4 days down the road you submit another one, that could confuse the quality rater or the person who is actually on the other end, having to analyze that, because they're going to see stuff that's so close to each other.
Yeah.
So, and if you don't have a penalty, then I would think not. I would think about spacing them even farther out.
Right.
If you're not under penalty, I would not be submitting every month. I would maybe submit every other month. Give it time for stuff to process through. Google is fast. They are extremely fast. And when it comes to doing like technical stuff, Google is slower than snow. I mean, they're just slow. So if you don't give it time, you're going to have a hard time, and you could actually probably set your site up for more issues in the future. So I would strongly personally recommend that you give it time.
So here's what I'll do. I'm going to leave it alone. The one disavow and that old 301, like the site that's 301 redirected, I'm going to leave it at disavow. The current new site does not have a disavow. I'm going to wait to see if things start. If I'll see like 1, 2, 3 links from the disavow starting to appear, then I'll know. Hey, maybe now it's time to disavow the new site. But I don't think it's going to overcross, right?
I would think that would be a good idea.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
You still owe me $100, buddy.
I thought it was Timbits.
Or Timbits. You can send me some Timbits.
Okay. Tim Hortons will knock on your door tomorrow. I'll get some Uber to your door.
Timbits. That's equivalent to 100 Canadian dollars anyway.
I'll have Uber deliver that to you.
Good.
Awesome. Okay. Well, outstanding. Well, hey, thanks for joining, guys. I've really got to go, so I'm sorry about that. So we're going to cut it a few minutes early. Please go enjoy with your family and friends and all that good stuff. And then we will not have this next Friday because of the Thanksgiving holiday. And then we'll be back December 6th. And we'll have a guest host that day because I am busy putting on a 5K. So we're trying to raise some money for charity. So enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys later. And Danny, if you want to sponsor, you can sponsor my 5K. Hit me up, email me.
All right, guys, thanks.
But it's basically, I'll tell you real fast, it's called the Naughty or Nice 5K. It's a family-friendly 5K, and if you go search Naughty or Nice 5K in San Jose, it'll show up. And basically, I'm raising money to buy pajamas and new books for kids in the San Jose area. And so it's a good little 5K. I've got a couple hundred people who are running it. And yeah, Danny, it's naughtyornice5k.com or naughtyornicerun.com. That's what it is. So yeah, come join us. If you guys want to come out and run, if you're in the San Jose area, please come and join us. I just have just over 200 runners. I was hoping to have a couple thousand, but it didn't work out that way. So yeah, if you want to sponsor it, please come and do it. I'll be doing this event for the next few years. I was homeless as a kid. I know what it's like. It's not fun, and so I want to try to buy some pajamas and new books for kids. So I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Thanks for being here.
Great.